Mr. Bin is the leader of a professional tree-cutting team in a small town on the edge of the forest. The team consists of 5 people: Mr. Bin, Mr. Tuan, Mr. Hung, Mr. Min and Mr. Khan. They have worked together for many years, becoming close teammates, understanding each other's personalities and strengths. Every morning, when the mist is still covering the treetops, the whole team is present at the small sawmill on the edge of town. Today, they are assigned to cut down an old and rotten tree. This tree is deep in the forest, where few people go, but it is still included in the forest protection plan of the local government. Mr. Bin checks all the tools: chainsaw, safety ropes, pulleys, and protective gear. Mr. Tuan is in charge of fuel for the machines. Mr. Min checks the cables and makes sure everything is well prepared. Everyone is very familiar with the job, but they are never complacent. Safety always comes first. As the sun began to rise above the trees, the first rays of sunlight shone through the foliage, creating a mesmerizing scene. Birds chirped everywhere, like a natural symphony. The whole team got into the car, carrying machinery and tools, and headed into the forest. The forest road was rough, but these men were used to such trips. When they arrived, they stopped under the canopy of an ancient tree, where light filtered through the leaves, creating shimmering streaks of sunlight. Mr. Bin stood looking at the tree, assessing its condition. The tree was tall with large branches reaching out everywhere, but the trunk was rotten, no longer strong enough to support the large canopy. The work began with pruning the large branches to reduce the weight at the top. Mr. Hung, who had a lot of experience climbing trees, wore a safety rope, and gently climbed the tree trunk with a chainsaw. Mr. Khan supported below, holding the rope tightly to ensure Hung's safety. The sound of a chainsaw rang out, breaking the silence of the forest. Large branches fell one after another, and were quickly collected and stacked by Tuan and Min. The whole team coordinated smoothly, without much talking. Just a few nods and glances were enough to understand each other. Each person had a task, but everyone knew clearly what to do to make the job go as smoothly as possible. Once the large branches were handled and the tree trunk was lighter, Bin began to prepare for the tree cutting process. This was the most important and also the most risky part. Bin and Tuan together assessed the direction of the tree's fall, ensuring that when the tree fell, it would not harm the surrounding trees or damage the forest land. They chose a cutting point at the lower part of the trunk, used a chainsaw to create a deep diagonal cut into the trunk, then used cables and pulleys to adjust the direction of the fall. Sweat beaded on each person's forehead, but everyone was highly focused. Every move was careful and precise, because they knew that just a small mistake could lead to unpredictable consequences. When the tree started to shake, Mr. Bin signaled for everyone to step back. The sound of the falling tree echoed throughout the forest, like its farewell to nature. The whole team stood watching the ancient tree slowly sway, then fall gently, lying neatly on the ground. Not a single branch was broken unintentionally, no incidents occurred. Mr. Bin breathed a sigh of relief, a satisfied smile clearly visible on his face. When the tree started to shake, Mr. Bin signaled for everyone to step back. The sound of the falling tree echoed throughout the forest, like its farewell to nature. The whole team stood watching the ancient tree slowly sway, then fall gently, lying neatly on the ground. Not a single branch was broken unintentionally, no incidents occurred. Mr. Bin breathed a sigh of relief, a satisfied smile clearly visible on his face. At noon, they stopped to rest. A simple lunch was set out in the middle of the forest, with bread, fruit and cool water. The group sat in a circle, talking and laughing. An Hung told stories about the times he went to saw trees and encountered difficult situations, making everyone laugh. Stories about life, family, and old memories were shared, making the lunch warm and fun. After the break, they continued working until the sun began to set. The sunset dyed the whole forest red, creating a peaceful and beautiful scene. The work was almost done, the large tree trunks were cut into small pieces and neatly stacked. The whole team stood back to look at their achievements, everyone felt satisfied. Today's work was completed excellently, not only because of professionalism, but also because of their love for nature, for the job they had chosen. When they returned, laughter echoed throughout the forest path. They know that tomorrow will be another working day, but that doesn't make them worried or tired. For them, every working day is a joy, an opportunity to live and work in the middle of nature, to listen to birds singing, to breathe fresh air, and above all, to work with close teammates.